I sold over $200,000 out of this garage. So today we're taking a tour. Hey, and welcome back to the Flip Factory. I'm Trent, and today I'm taking you on a tour of this garage, the factory, if you will. We're gonna be looking at the shipping station in depth. We're gonna be looking at the SKU systems. We're gonna be looking at all the different boxes I use and systems that go into selling that much inventory over the course of 1 year. But before we get into that, I just have to take a second and say thank you to all of you that watched that first video. I think as of right now, it's up to 11,000 views. That's crazy. I told my wife when I did the first video, I'd be happy by the end of 2026 if I got 1,000 views on it. So I don't think I need to work anymore for the next year. Nah, I'm so excited for this YouTube channel and for I think I'm almost up to 1,000 subscribers for that first video, and I'm excited. I'm gonna try to put out more content just like this, and try to help you as much as I can. That's really the purpose and the goal of this, like I ended the last video, is to show you what I do and to help you with any questions you have. I don't think I do everything the best way it can be, but it works really well for me and the lifestyle that we have and where we're at. I want to start out the tour with how an item gets processed in my store. So we start off with, I have all these items, they're in the trunk of my car, and I'm unloading them. I have a 4.5 to 5 feet wide beach wagon that is one of those fold-up ones that I can store away really easily. So I use that to throw in all of the piles of clothes that I have. Most of them I always ask at the local mom and pop shops that I'm at to just don't worry about giving me a bag. They a lot of times use those $1 bags and stuff, and I just don't have a use for them. So I tell them to keep their bags. I'll just load everything up into this. I either bring some totes with me in my car or have some bags in there that I stick everything in so it doesn't get dirty with all the other stuff. But I load that stuff up into the wagon and take it over to my processing table. It's a small 4-foot wide table. That's like one of those white plastic Lifetimes cheapy kind of fold-up table. Surprisingly can hold a lot of weight. I know I've had more than 100 pounds, maybe even 200 pounds of clothing on it. And it's also adjustable height-wise too, so I'm not having to lean way over. I can just have it at like chest high, waist high kind of, and work off the pile of clothes that way. So at this prepping station, I just pile up the clothes. I lay shirt on jeans, everything doesn't matter. Just stick it all in one pile as neatly as possible. This is also a time when a lot of the wrinkles will get out because as I pile them up, sometimes there's over 100 items, 150 items. All that weight kind of compresses down. And so if you have them nice, kind of ironed out, I don't actually iron them most of the time, but if you have them nice flattened out, it'll get a lot of the wrinkles out, a lot of the weird shapes that these items have been stored in at the thrift store. This table is where I prep everything. I take the tags off from the thrift store, clean them up if they're dirty. If they're actually dirty, like they smell bad or there's dirt on them or anything that doesn't look like used and in excellent condition, I'll stick them in the wash them, and then they're ready to have pictures taken of them. One of the things I like about having this processing and prepping station out and in plain sight and very accessible is I always know how much inventory I have in my pile. And when it's out, when I put it on that table, it doesn't become a death pile. Death pile is where you just have tons and tons of stuff. I still have my own death pile. It's actually in a box behind me. It just continues to grow with items that I'm like not super excited about listing or that I just shouldn't have picked up and not gonna list. But having it this way allows me to be able to just know how many items I have ready to go. So I know if I need to go out and thrift more. As we move from the processing part of this, we go to the picture taking station. I got a lot of questions on the video about the picture station. It's not original with me. I found it on YouTube, like I pretty much found everything. But it's really simple. It's a 4-foot by 4-foot square piece of plywood that I put some brackets on, attached them to my wall, put a small like 1x2 on the bottom, cut it off to where it would angle against the board really well, put some brackets on it to connect it to the 4x4 piece of plywood. And then I went to Joann's Fabrics and picked up some felt for the top of the board. I just saw a video of someone using like a gray blanket, and so I just bought one. I'm probably going to redo it. This felt's getting a little bit worn out after 13,000 items. That can happen. So we'll see how that blanket does, and I'll make a video about it too in the future. One of the nice things about the picture station that I have is that the board's kind of on a horizontal slant, which really helps with my back. If you have a table that you lean over constantly, or if you're doing it on the floor, it just messes with your back so bad. So this thing, I'm able to just basically stand straight up. I have to lean a little bit sometimes, but it helps so much. And when I'm taking pictures too, I'm just having to stay just like this, taking the picture. The lights I have for my picture taking station are just two big 22-inch ring lights. I got them cheap a year ago on a Black Friday deal, and they've worked great. I've tried some other lighting equipment and they work great too. But I just wanted a little bit more light shining on these and be able to change the colors on it to be able to really just get the best looking pictures as I can. And so these have worked great. After I'm finished taking pictures of the item, I take it and I bag it up and I stick it into one of these long 30-inch by 8x8 boxes that I have. I'll talk more about those boxes in a second. But it's all done, that is all done at this other processing station that I have. That's where I put the item in the bag, I stick the SKU label on it. I'll have more on the SKU labels in a second as well. And I stick them in the box, fill up that box, and then that box goes back into the inventory. This station also is where I take pictures of my shoes. I know it looks weird with the gray blanket just nailed to the wall, but that's just a backdrop. I'll show you an example of what shoes look like with those pictures. It's worked really well for me. I really want to get one of those nice wooden like Lazy Susans that are out there and stick the shoe around there so I don't have to constantly pick up the shoe, which sometimes lifts the blanket up with it and I have to re-straighten it out. So that's probably an upgrade that I'll make in the future, is one of those like a 20-inch round Susan that's nice wood stained. I see a lot of shoe and sneaker sellers that use that, and so definitely an upgrade I'll make in the future. But for right now, the gray blanket backdrop just nailed to a wall has worked great. I've sold tens of thousands of dollars worth of shoes with that backdrop. That area is also where I take pictures of anything that's not clothing. So obviously, like I said, shoes, also hats, any hard goods, like video games, electronic equipment, anything like that. I take pictures at that station. I just move my lighting kit from my picture board over to that area. The question I probably got the most, how I store and find and organize all of these items. It's not super complicated and it's really all over YouTube, but I want to run through it real quick and show you how I do it. I use these storage shelves. The best ones I've found are the ones at Sam's Club. If you don't have a Sam's Club near you, maybe you can get it online with some cheaper shipping. But what you basically want is something that's flat if you're using these kind of boxes. It makes it slide way easier back and forth instead of the ones that have the grates in them. They get stuck on them all the time. You have to push them around. I bought like 2 of those ones with grates, and I had to go and use them for some different storage systems because they just did not work well. The boxes I use are 30 by 8 by 8. You can pick those boxes up anywhere on Amazon. Uline is a great spot. If you're gonna buy a bulk lot, you can buy it from Uline and they'll give you a little bit of a discount. I bought a lot of mine on eBay. I bought them used. As you can tell, they get pretty beat up. You constantly have to tape them up and make sure they're not falling apart. What does it is when you pull and there's a lot of weight behind these edges just break right out. But this is 30 by 8 by 8. And the bags and everything, even thick jeans fit right in there. The more bulky stuff I'll go over in a second where that goes, like big puffer jackets, Carhartt jackets, that kind of stuff. I put on a giant coat rack, or a good sized coat rack, and I'll show you that in a minute. The bags I use for this system are just cheap little 12 by 9 bags. They're 1.5 mil thickness. They're still really strong. They really don't tear at all. They have this little pink line here. When you tear that off, it gets the sticky side up, you push it down, and it locks it in place, and they store nice in the bags. There's pros and cons to using the type that seal like this, and then the type that actually have Ziploc like this. The Ziploc ones are nice because you can always just come and take an item out really easily. and seal it back up without having to get a different bag and a different, or write the SKU on it because you've ruined the bag with the SKU number on it. But these are cheaper and a little bit easier. And as you get better and better at taking pictures and descriptions and such, you don't really ever need to go back to look at inventory. I don't do it much anymore. If someone asks, I already know that person's probably going to be a problem customer or just someone that's not going to buy the item once they actually find out the information about it. So I don't ever usually answer or get out and remeasure something or anything for a person. But these are great. They're cheap. I think they're like 1 or 2 cents a piece. I could be wrong about that. It might be 3 cents a piece, but they're really cheap, easy to use, and they have a suffocation warning on it, which is great because we don't want anyone suffocating from eBay bags. If the item's too big to fit in one of those bags and not big enough to go on my coat rack, which is where I put all the items that are just too big for these boxes, giant puffer jackets, Carhartt jackets, that kind of thing, I stick them in these big white poly bags. Super easy to do. Stick them in there, roll it up. I actually tape the sides so they fit into the box easier. As you can see here, I've taped this side of this bag a little bit more so that it fits down in evenly and easier. Throw the SKU number sticker on it, and we're good to go. I want to show you what condensing the inventory actually looks like with just a very simple 2-box condensing. So I have here a box that I've sold a couple items out of. As you can see, there's a little bit of space here. And you always want to start with the box that's lower. You push the items back as far as you can. You take the item box with higher inventory, the next one up. You pull it out and you take from the back the inventory in order. So we have here 12288. I would take 12292, that's the next one, put it in, and continue to go little bits at a time. I usually do 2 or 3, 4 items at a time to just condense these all the way in. And then you push this box back, you push this box back, kind of push these items back, and then you go to the next one and you keep on going through the system. Throw a podcast on or something, and it's a good time. So we've prepped the items, we've taken pictures of them, we've stuck them in bags, skewed them, got them into our inventory system, into these boxes, and now let's say an item sells. Welcome to the shipping station. This is where an item goes when it is sold on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Depop. When an item sells on one of those platforms, we print out a big list, or we look on our phones for this list, we sort it by SKU, and we go and we pick out all those numbers out of our inventory. It's pretty simple because of the system we have. All the numbers are in order, and when you organize by SKU number, it puts it in either descending or ascending order and makes it super easy to pick those items, to find them, and then to ship them. I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to ship on each one of those platforms. There's a lot there, and it's not hard, but I'll cover that in another video soon. But I do want to talk about what I use to ship. First thing are these 10 by 13 clear poly bags. They're just a smaller version of the one that I just showed you a little bit ago. Most of my stuff fits into these. Any shirts, most jeans, if they're not like a 50-inch waist, they'll fit into these bags, and they ship out. If the item's too big for one of those smaller poly mailers, I'll stick into one of these big ones. This is a 17 or 18-inch one. And it's also really good for bulk orders. If you have someone that buys more than one item, if it's like 2 or 3, 4 items, they'll fit into this bag pretty easily and ship out. I throw in a thank you card for each item that sells. I think it helps a lot. It just says, thank you for supporting our small business. It has a QR code on the back that takes you to back to our eBay store. I think that helps a lot with the reviews. If some item isn't exactly what they expected, they might see, oh, he's got a small business, maybe we'll take it easy on him and just message him instead of leaving a bad review. I have a 99.7% positive review rate, so I'm happy with that. I still get negative reviews often. It just comes with the territory. You can't make everybody happy, but good little tip, maybe pick these up. I got these, I bulk bought them for, I think 10,000 of them for 1 penny each. So not too expensive. I use one of the cheaper Jaden's Bluetooth printers. I don't even use the Bluetooth. I have it hooked up to my computer just so I don't have to take the time every morning to get the Bluetooth hooked up. I just turn my computer on and it's ready to go to print. I think it's 70 or 80 bucks on Amazon. I actually found it at one of the bin stores that does the $10 days, $14 days. It was right there new in the box, so I bought it, and it's worked great. I've done 12,000, almost 13,000 labels on it, and I've never once, not once has it jammed or had a problem. So highly advise picking up one of those Jaden's printers. I think they're exactly like the Rollo printers. They're just not name brand, so they're like $120 cheaper. Once we package up the item, we buy the label, throw the shipping label on it, and then we stick it in one of these USPS bags. The postal service the post office gives these bags out. My mail lady actually delivers them to me every week, and it's just, this bag is filled with other bags that we slowly fill up. We don't make them too heavy so she doesn't have to carry too much weight in these. And most of the time I'm here in the garage and I help her take them to her mail car. You can also take these bags over to the actual post office and deliver them in case you missed your mail person, they came too late, or whatever might happen. The last thing I have to go over in this tour is my coat rack, and it's pretty simple. It's a coat rack. I hang anything that's too big for these boxes, your big bulk jackets, big overalls, coveralls, that kind of stuff. Hang them up on the coat rack. I can pick them off really easy. I've been selling through that coat rack pretty quickly this winter season, which has been great. That about does it for the tour of my little flip factory here. If you have any more questions, please let me know in the comments. I promise I will answer your comment. I love helping. I love seeing all the questions that come up, and I do my best to answer it to the best of my ability. Now here's a quick message from my kids, because they were dying to say this.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.